Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over the cost of a bearded dragon. So this is basically what you buy when you first get a bearded dragon. This is covering everything. I just want to mention before I start, I'm going to be listing the average prices. So this isn't really like, I know some things cost like way more money than most products, but I'm not going to be discussing the most expensive. It's going to be based off of the average prices, and then I'm going to kind of total up all the averages. So it's just going to be basically one big average. I mean, if you want to spend less or you want to spend more, then that is on you. I'm also going to be making another video after this on how to basically get discounted products and where to buy the products that you can get discounted, where to buy more inexpensive things. If you are on a budget like I am sometimes, I can basically give you all the details on how to save money when buying a bearded dragon and when you're continuing to own the bearded dragon, even with food. So this is Fitz's new place. I'm in the making of the pet room, which is upstairs. So I will just show you guys a little, preview of Fitz's area. Kit Kat, can you shut up? I'm gonna basically go on if you buy everything separate, not getting a starter kit. I will go into the starter kits later in this video, but this is basically if you're just getting it and you're buying everything separate. Okay, so when you first get your bearded dragon, they definitely vary with prices. When you buy them from a breeder, they can be as low as $20 or they can be as expensive as $100, depending if you get them as a juvenile, as an adult, or if you get them as like a fancy bearded dragon or a normal bearded dragon. Moving on to tanks. If you're getting a juvenile, you're gonna wanna get a 20-gallon long tank. If you're getting an adult, you're gonna wanna get a 40-gallon breeder tank, which is the minimum. I'm basically using the checklist I used in my other video. You can click here to see the bearded dragon starter checklist. This is exactly what I'm going off of. So for the 20-gallon long, they usually range with, if you buy it separately, it's usually within the 80s, 90s, or 100s, or low 100s. If you're getting the 40-gallon, it's going to be in the mid 100s, even 200s sometimes, depending on where you get them from. If you're buying a tank, it doesn't normally come with a screen lid, so you're going to need to get one of those. They're usually about 15 to 20, again, depending on if you're getting a 20-gallon long or a 40-gallon breeder tank. A basking light is usually $8 to $15, again, depending on the brand, depending on which type of heating light you get, which type of wattage. A UVA, UVB can range from $8 to $30. It's depending on whether you get the bulb or you get the tube. I know a lot of people are in favor of the tube, but I get the bulb, so it is cheaper for me to buy lights. And if your room gets below the 70 degrees range, then you're going to want to get a nighttime heating lamp, which can be $4 to $15. Now, you can have your lights and not have your domes either, so you're going to need to pay for those. The domes for the lights range from about $10 to $25. Your choice of substrate will vary, so it can be from about $5 to $30. If you're going for the coconut fiber, I know that's not recommended at all, or the sand, they're usually about, I think the coconut fiber is $5 for the brick, and the sand is usually about $30. I know they can be pretty pricey, but if you're going with Repti carpet, it can still be about $15 to $30 depending on how long you want the roll, so that is about $5 to $30. Your decorations, they're so overpriced in pet stores, and I suppose you guys are going to a pet store to buy everything unless you're doing most of it online, which is definitely a smarter idea, but your decorations, they are very pricey, so I'm just going to average that all out to be about $40 or $50 because you're going to want to get the hideout, which is a bigger ornament, so that can range from like 15 to 20. Then like smaller plants or whatever, that's another like 20 or 30. Moving on to the water and food dish, which can range from about $2 to $10 for both of them. If you saw my $20 bearded dragon finds challenge, stop it. No. If you saw my $20 bearded dragons find challenge, you guys saw that I bought 2 salsa bowls for about $1. So your food bowls can be as cheap as $1, but they can range from $1 to $10. When you buy a spray bottle, again, just like the food and water dish, I know some of them, they're like an automatic sprayer, so you just pump it and then you just spray it and it's easy, but I have, the keep spraying the ones, so that can range from about $2 to $10. You're also going to want to get the calcium with the vitamin D3. Make sure you get it with vitamin D3. It is a better choice. That usually ranges from 3 to 10 depending on the brand. And you're going to want to make sure you get a thermometer, which can be about $5 to $10. Now these are more on the optional side, but I am going to include these as well. If you want to get tongs for your insects, they're usually $6. If you want to get a lighting timer, they can range from $12 to $30. If you want to get a syringe just in case you need to ever feed your bearded dragon baby food or medicine. They're very cheap. They're usually about $1 or $2. So in total, all of that together, if you bought everything separately, it's gonna be about $360 to $400. Now this is basically the average. Like I said, this isn't if you get the most expensive or the cheapest. This is basically just the average. So $360 to $400 to start off. This isn't counting the insects or the food at all. Now, if you get the Bearded Dragon starter kit, a lot of them sell a $10 gallon kit. It's not a good idea. Your Bearded Dragon, it can stunt their growth. So the minimum for a juvenile is a 20 gallon long. Please do not get the 10 gallon. A lot of these pet stores sell like small tanks, incredibly small tanks for an animal, and it's not good for their environment. It's going to stunt their growth. It's not giving them a good quality of life. So please don't go that route. Just get the 20 gallon long if you're getting a juvenile. If you're getting an adult, you're going to want to get a 40 gallon breeder tank minimum. This is the absolute minimum. So if you're getting a 20 gallon kit, they're usually, you know, about 130 to 200 for the whole kit. Obviously the 40 gallons would be into high hundreds and the 20 gallon would be about 130 or mid hundreds. But just keep in mind that these only really include the light fixtures like the light bulbs, the domes and everything, the substrate, a food and water dish, and they might come with food samplers, but they come with the tank and the screen lid too. So adding everything else that I've discussed, regardless of what they have in the starter kit, it is going to be a little cheaper, about $340 to $370. So it is wiser to go with the starter kit. That's what I did. But still, you are more than likely going to have to pay over $300 to get your Bearded Dragon, but it is definitely worth it. So they are pretty pricey, you know, the cost of a Bearded Dragon, but as you get on with the food and everything, the upkeep isn't that much. I mean, if you're going to decorate your Bearded Dragon's tank and do different decorations, it obviously can pay the cost. I know I do Fitz's tank. I try to do Fitz's tank every month, a little different, but you know, that barely ever works out. But the decorations can be pricey. So this is basically what you're going to need to start them out. I know crickets are about 10 cents each, and the super worms or whatever worms you decide to feed your Bearded Dragon. I know the silkworms and the phoenix worms are much more expensive than mealworms and super worms. I don't recommend mealworms, but if you're going off of super worms, mine are about 15 cents or 20 cents each. I'm not sure. It can definitely vary depending on where you live. So where I live, it's 10 cents per cricket and 15 cents per superworm. The superworms sometimes come in a little container, and I think the crickets do as well. So they obviously are a cheaper buy. I usually get a little container of 50, and I'm pretty sure that's about $5 or $6. So that's adding on to the complete cost of the Bearded Dragon. If you're talking vegetables too, adding on, they vary as well. I go to the supermarket. I sometimes get a big bag of collard greens for $3, a big bag of mustard greens for $4. It's depending on where you go. So obviously you're gonna wanna check out your local supermarket for that. And you're gonna wanna get, you know, like peppers, whatever vegetables you choose. I get blueberries, I get carrots and stuff like that. If we're talking weekly, if I go to the supermarket once a week to buy just Fitz's stuff, it's probably only gonna be about $10. So I'm guessing like $40 per month or around there for a Bearded Dragon. But that's because I get a lot of food for her, and most of the time she doesn't eat it, so I end up eating some of it. But that's pretty much probably the most you'll ever spend a month on your Bearded Dragon's food, $40. That's what I spend. So I'm not really going off based of what you guys want to do. It's basically what I do. I don't really spend that much on Fitz. When you get everything for your Bearded Dragon, it can be expensive, but you know, as they live with you and stuff, the price definitely goes down. And everyone's always been asking me, can you please do a cost of your Bearded Dragon video, or how much you spend a month on food for Fitz? Basically, yes, about $40, $30. It's depending on where you go. You don't have to spend as much as me. I know some people just feed their Bearded Dragons a steady diet, whether it's collard greens and peppers every day of their lives, then that's about like $5-6 per week. So that's only like $20 a month, $20, $30 a month. So it's all basically on your preference. I can't really give you guys a guaranteed cost, but I can tell you about how much it's going to be to own a Bearded Dragon and keep them. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I always bring Fitz out like the last second, but it's because she runs away. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope this was informational, and I hope you guys enjoy your new Bearded Dragon. If you're just starting out to buy a Bearded Dragon, or you're about to go get a Bearded Dragon, I'm really sorry I couldn't post the discounted video, you know, the same day, but it's definitely going to be coming soon. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.